hour.
Okay, and there's Dirk, and they talked at the same time, and we're excited to be here because we're coming off of a miracle win over the New Orleans Saints, a game that should have been put away by halftime, but due to maybe some poor play calling and poor execution, the Vikings were very much still in the game by the end of the game, and it was a very, very exciting finish by all accounts, Isaac.
Oh, absolutely, Nathan. I'm surprised to hear you call play calling. You usually are very behind our coach. You think that was a big part of it, play calling, or just poor execution?
A little bit of both. Very much a little bit of both.
Well, it was the most exciting Vikings game of my entire lifetime, and probably many other Vikings fans as well.
I don't think we have ever screamed so much in our entire lives.
Especially from the state we were in before we started screaming. We were very, very, very down.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever said, oh, my God, as many times as I've said, oh, my God.
Yeah, that was an incredible finish, something that I don't think any of us saw coming, and it was very exciting.
And we even threw it away. I mean, in theory, we should not have won that game.
And if you look,
we did everything to give it away in the end, and yet the football gods looked down on us and they said, you know, we're going to give it to you.
And you know the reason why? It's not because the Saints drove down the field 3 times to score touchdowns. It's because we threw an interception, had a punt blocked, and those were the 2 extra touchdowns that they got.
We pretty much tried to.
Because the Saints are a good offense and Drew Brees is a great competitor.
No.
Yeah, but we pretty much had it.
It's because we gave them great field position, and it's historically very hard to stop a team when they get great field position.
We pretty much had every single miscue in the book that we could have to try and lose that game. It was a miracle we didn't, by Viking standards, that we didn't lose that game, because normally when our punts are getting blocked and we're giving up touchdowns like that, we're normally losing playoff games in heartbreaking fashion.
That's true, Dirk. Very good point.
So I think I'll probably never forget the fact that we were about to throw away Kool-Aid pouches, and then the Diggs touchdown catch happens and we can drink them, and Isaac spits all over the floor. That's something I'll never forget.
Yeah, I know. That was really one of the most incredible. I don't think I've ever been so happy in my entire life as when Diggs caught that touchdown and started running. I mean, what a thrilling moment for all of us. That game was over.
Nathan was relatively done. Nathan's a short man.
Oh, my God.
And
oh, God.
in this moment, Nathan was just crouching down. He was just so low to the ground, almost like he was praising the Lord or something of that matter.
Where did this come from?
He was just,
for those of you who don't know, Nathan's a short man.
Small, but
oh my God!
Exciting.
What? We were all excited.
We were all excited.
I understand when you're that excited.
Oh, that's what it was. I'm sorry, it didn't really relate. I just wanted to give another dig at Nathan Schulte's.
Yeah, why not?
Well, it was a very interesting touchdown play, because as soon as he caught the ball, I'm thinking, why is he not getting out of bounds? For the sake of the fact that there's 5 seconds on the clock and there's a field goal range, and then he starts running, and then I'm in the middle of like, okay, good for you, you're running, but like, you're probably going to get tackled in bounds. Then I realize there's no defensive backs who are going to tackle him, and then I start freaking out.
Yeah, and if you look back at the play, there's a few things going on, right? First of all, it was a perfect pass by Case Keenum for what happened. Like, that ball was exactly where it needed to be, and Stephon Diggs made an amazing catch. And I'm not going to say maybe he saw the defender coming, but he basically leaped over him. So
I think he was aware.
In that respect, very, very amazing play offensively. But then you look at the other side of the ball, and going into this game, people were talking all about playoff experience. Well, the Saints safety is a rookie this year. Like, this is his first year in the NFL, and this is the first really big moment he's ever had to play. And when you talk about a safety, I think it's implied in the name. I mean, they are the safety net. And so when they're making mistakes and a rookie moves, that can be worrisome. And no one was really talking about that going into the game. And lo and behold, what really gets them in the end? Lack of playoff experience.
Yes. And while that safety did mess up on that play, there was actually a lot of sports commentary I heard this week blaming the coaching staff. Because remember, the Saints had called a timeout just before, and a lot of analysts I saw said the coaches should have been making sure that safety knew you have to stay back. The guy, clearly Marvin Williams, the Saints safety, did not, and that's why he came up and whiffed on Diggs to avoid pass interference, and then the greatest touchdown of our lives.
Yeah, and it's, you got to feel for the kid. He had a heck of a year, And he also came up with a big-time interception in the third quarter to give the Saints a really good chance to win that game. So it's just a fluke play that will go down in history as one of the most exciting playoff finishes in NFL history. But again, even though Williams had a very poor play, and it was certainly a large portion his fault, we do need to give credit to Keenum and Diggs for executing that play and making it happen, because that doesn't happen if they don't do a really good job. Case Keenum put it in the exact right spot, and Stephon Diggs had the awareness to know what was going on and ran in to bring the state of Minnesota into a crazy frenzy.
And with one of the best touchdown celebrations ever of just throwing your helmet away and standing there with your arms open.
Got flagged for
I saw that. So I never really figured out what happened.
I looked into it. It's a flag. You get a flag for throwing your helmet away, and it's applied on the kickoff. There's no kickoff, so there's really no flag.
Because I think honestly for like 1 or 2 more days, I always expected a flag to be thrown for holding, and it would all to go away, and we would just lose everything. I couldn't get my head out of it. And then I watched the play over, and I saw a yellow flag on the field, and I couldn't understand. I figured it was for the celebration, but it was odd that didn't, even get stated. They just disregarded it. But I guess when you make a play like that, you earn the right to chuck your helmet across the field.
I mean, it's exactly like the Saints were looking to stay on the field for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of felt bad for those 11 guys that had to come back out for the 2-point conversion attempt, and then just was like a skull chant going. And they
salty about that. Oh my God.
And
no one walks off on the New Orleans Saints. We walk off on you.
Well, Sean Payton, maybe you shouldn't have mocked our skull chant before the last drive.
Oh,
that was bad.
You want to talk about fate. First, Bountygate, and then you come and you think you beat us in the divisional round, and you're going to make fun of us as fans? Are you kidding me? Oh, God, he deserved that so much.
He deserved it so much, and he'll probably never do it again. He's hopefully learned his lesson.
The sad part is Drew Brees is a great man. It's sad that he has to be tied with the legacy of Peyton.
Well, I love Sean Payton was gifted a couch by a Minnesota fan, which I just love. That is hilarious.
Oh, wow.
He has since donated to a children's hospital, so good for Sean Payton, but good for Minnesota for making a statement.
Really
and
making him look like
Minnesota really getting involved with Saints people this week. You look at the punter for the Saints, he got injured and had a tough game the whole game, but he played as hard as he possibly could. And the Vikings, and also, so then the big thing is he came out first to be a part of that final play so he could kneel and win the game. And the Vikings fans clearly were into that and have donated $100,000 to his organization. And he sent it all back to Minnesota. So kind of some cool interactions with the Vikings people.
Pretty cool.
And Sean Payton.
Yeah.
We can't say that we're not a classy people because we definitely are.
But back to Diggs, one more thing. I also, if you watch his interview, often in the NFL you don't get real emotion. I mean, people get, adrenaline and they're excited, but I loved in his interview. He was just so overcome with emotion. He just broke down in a team play, and I think that goes to show, how special his team is.
Yeah, but moving on from that, we do have there was a rest of a game to talk about. So
yeah, there were about 59 more minutes and 50 seconds more of that game.
Yes, that's right. As a whole, Case Keenum, I thought, played pretty well in that game. I thought that he made all the necessary throws, with the exception of one really bad interception, which he cannot do this coming week. It's very important that if he's going to do that, he just throws it right out of bounds. We cannot have any of that cheap interception stuff. But Case Keenum did well. He bought time for himself. He made the throws he needed to throw. He got us down the field, especially early, and got us up on the scoreboard. And when it came down to the clutch moments and we needed that last-minute field goal, he made an amazing throw to Adam Thielen that got us right into field goal range.
That's for sure.
So
I would say there's not many throws besides that interception where I said he was just, obviously a couple where he had to sling it up there for no hope, but there wasn't really anything he forced besides that bad interception, I thought.
Yeah, Case Keenum had a good game. He really did, and maybe the playoffs bring in the best of him. I don't know.
I mean, at this point, we have to look at Case Keenum as a legitimate quarterback. He played very well in a playoff game, a high atmosphere, and you always in the playoffs, you see these quarterbacks like Breeze and Brady and Roethlisberger, who, obviously in the end he lost last weekend, but you think that if they get the ball, a couple minutes left, magic can happen. And I have to admit, when Case Keenum got the ball with 25 seconds left, I did not think magic would happen. But he took 2 drives down the field in the final 3 minutes to come back and then win that game. And I just love this little stat here. Hear this out. So here's Case Keenum's stats since week 8, and then another quarterback's stats since week 8. Case Keenum.
Tom Brady.
He's got it. It's Tom Brady. Yes.
Yeah, it's Tom Brady.
Everyone's
200. Well, let's just say it. Let's finish this out. We had 254 yards for Case, 270 yards per game for Tom Brady. Comparable. Tom Brady's got the edge. 68.9% completion percentage for Case. 66.1 for Tom Brady. 18 touchdowns and 6 interceptions for Case. 20-6 for Brady. Very close. And then finally, 102 rating for Case Keenum and 96 for Tom Brady. So he is playing very comparably to the quarterback everyone is saying right now is just going to knock everyone else in this 14 playoff out.
Yeah.
And Case Keenum has healthier hands.
What?
And Case Keenum right now has a healthier right hand.
That is true.
Yeah, you could say that.
Tom Brady questionable. What a joke. What a joke.
But I
doesn't play well.
What a joke. Why would they not play him? But here's the other thing about the game I noticed was, the wide receivers, Diggs had been playing well lately in weeks. Obviously, was playing well before that catch. Thielen played better than he had been doing in prior weeks, I thought. I thought an interesting part was the run game. I didn't know how to come away thinking about the run game from that football game.
Yeah, the run game was definitely.
Many times it was solid, but many times where it was like, eh.
The run game was definitely a problem. We saw consistently Latavius Murray was getting stopped up the middle all day. You have to hope that coming into this week they have a little bit more synergy and maybe a little bit more of a solid game plan going for the run game. That was the first time that combination of offensive linemen had played together. I think Pat Elflein should hopefully be a little bit healthier this week, and hopefully we have a little bit more synergy because that was definitely a concerning part was the run game up the middle. For the most part, though, when we went to the outside, we were getting at least 5 to 6 yards, which is what you want to see.
See, the thing is, though, we're going up now this week against a much more formidable front four and run-stopping defense. I mean, they were the first-ranked run defense in the league this year.
Yeah.
So while hopefully our running backs can pick it up a little bit, it's going to be tough against this team and in this situation.
I don't know how successfully we'll be able to run it up the middle, though. I think that if we get our best players on their best players and we can single them out, I think we might have some success up the middle. But it's obviously not going to be an all-day sort of success. It's not going to be something we want to consistently rely on.
No, I think I would actually try to start opening up the pass before I start opening up the run this week, because I think the only way you get the run game going against Philadelphia would be you get the pass game going first. Now, looking on the other side of the football, we should have –
everyone always says in football, the run sets up the pass.
Go ahead.
I think we need to show run right away. We need to show that we're committed to attempting to run against them, because if they think that right away, they're not going to do it. When we do run, they're just going to stomp us. I disagree with you here. I think we need to run at least 2 out of 3 plays in the first drive.
I think that if we want to get the run game going, we're going to have to use Dirk McKinnon a lot more because they have a very power-hungry defensive line. I'm not sure how mobile they are. I think we will have much more success on the outside with tosses, with screens to Jerick McKinnon, and I think that's where we're going to thrive in this game. And I think if we get that going, we might have a little bit easier time to get the run going because they'll be trying to respect that so much.
Yeah, I think outside zone runs might start off with that, because I don't think that linebacking core is particularly the best linebacking core. The defensive line is kind of the heart and soul of that defense, which is a good defense. But I think I think you can handle the second and third levels pretty well. And Jimmy Jernigan can't get out there to try and tackle you.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. Yeah, and you talk about the addition of Mike Remmers at left guard instead of Jeremiah Searles. Was that the right call? I would say that it was. I think Mike Remmers is certainly a better run blocker than Jeremiah Searles. He didn't have a great game last week, and I think he certainly certainly can do better this week. So definitely going to be looking for that. And I think the whole right side of the line can do better and will do better this week because they've learned from what they've done. And like I say, they're still building synergy.
Really shitty though that he does that.
Yeah, I think I would put Revers at right and Berger at left. But besides that, I think I would keep this offensive line combo. And the only reason I would do Revers at right is I think Hill, as he showed last week against Cameron Jordan, would need a little bit more help, obviously. And I think Brandon Graham, very good pass rusher he has to face this week, going to need a little bit more help on him as well. So, but besides that, I thought the line combo worked fine. And I think it would be worth doing forward, but
let me clear your
look at the defensive side of the ball.
not going to happen. They will definitely be sticking with the same line combination this week, without a doubt.
Okay, I can live with that too. I can live with that too. So
last week is that the line stayed healthy in the game. So now we're gonna get another week in a row that they've got experience together, they understand each other more, and a full week of practice knowing for sure that that's the combo. Last week there was a little speculation about, who's going to play wherever. Now we know, so hopefully that extra practice, they'll really be ready.
I know people are really high on the Eagles' run defense, but I think we're going to have a better running game than we did against the Saints. There were just some disjointed things. We weren't 100% committing to the run game, and we weren't really calling the right plays. I think we're going to have a better running game against the Eagles, and Mike Zimmer is really making it a point of emphasis.
yeah, I think that could be too. But also I think what should be better against the Eagles and against the Saints is our run defense because while the Eagles have a two-headed running back monster, they're kind of more bigger power runners that I think we can handle better. And we handle against the Saints because we were doing like the game. We were handling it well in the first half, but then
All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to Nice Words with Isaac. And now it's time for Nice Words with Isaac.
All right, so my nice word segment for the NFC Championship game, a game that I feel very excited to be able to give nice words to because, I never really knew we'd be this far, but here we are. So naturally, I have to give my official nice words to the Minneapolis Miracle. So Case Keenum, Stephon Diggs, and Marcus Williams. Now I know we've talked about it, but I got to put it out there. That play will go down in history as an incredible moment in Vikings franchise history. I mean, it just shocked the nation, to be honest. And that in and of itself is excellent. However, I want to give out secondary nice words. While I had to give it to the play, I want to give out a second one. So my second nice words go to Case Keenum alone for his nice words. Now, I'm a person.
Got a girlfriend.
Faith is important to me, and also I'm a family man. Those things are very important to my life. And I think Case Keenum, in my opinion, may have had the most incredible post-game comment I've ever heard of a player in the NFL. After having such an amazing, crazy, wild play where his mind is going crazy, Case Keenum is pulled aside after the game, and they say in the interview, they say, Case, where is this moment gonna lie in the course of your life, your history, your playoff, or your playing history? And he was just saying, wow, it was amazing, and I think at the end of it all, this may be the third greatest thing in my life. First being the third greatest moment of my life. The first being giving my life to Jesus Christ. The second being marrying my wife. And then right after that, it's pretty close with this game. And I just thought, how cool is that for someone to, at the height of his football career, to just have some priorities in his life that are important to him. I really respected that. And I love that about our team. I think our team has a lot of good people on it. And I really respect our players. And I think they're a very cohesive team. And that's going to do great things as we go along here these last few weeks. Hopefully.
All right. Thank you, Isaac. Yes, certainly some insightful comments there. That play will, without a doubt, go down in Vikings history. as the first time that we actually won a game in a good way and not lost a game in a bad way. In the
Very, very true. Very true.
Very, very exciting for us, and we obviously all had a lot of fun watching it. But moving on to the Philadelphia Eagles, as we sort of already started kind of doing, maybe a little premature, but I mean, we are excited for this game. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little upset. I feel like the Eagles and the national media are getting too much credit.
It's kind of BS. I mean, they kind of have, we're the underdogs. We're the underdogs. That's like, no, you're not. Nobody has, no, you're not. Like, you're the underdogs in Vegas, yes, but nobody in the national media is like, oh, you guys have no chance at all, because they're all obsessing. Because they're all obsessing over those stupid dog masks. Those dog masks are stupid.
You know how we have the nice, sweet bring it home t-shirts? They literally made dog t-shirts. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me.
They made t-shirts now too?
Yeah, do you really want to win the Super Bowl the year that you're considered the underdogs? Like, that's not a fun way to do it. Why don't you just wait until you're actually a good team and then go?
Why don't you wait until Carson Wentz gets healthy next year and then go?
Yeah, one counter I have to Nathan. I think Nathan, in his perfect world, would have every analyst on every channel and every organization passionately choosing the Vikings. Because while, yes, there are some people choosing the Eagles and saying they're going to win, the Vikings are getting a heck of a lot of presence on national media. A lot of people saying that they're gonna take this game, and so we're getting our due respect.
You know what? It's not even my upset over people taking the Eagles. I can deal with that. It's the fact that every single person who takes the Vikings feels like they have to defend themselves for taking the Vikings. That's what I don't like, because people are saying, oh, I think it's going to be the Vikings because I think Case Keenum plays well. And then across the table, this guy says, that
I can put more in too. That might be what's making it hot.
this guy said, I feel like Case Keenum has to make plays to win the game, whereas Nick Foles, I don't really think he has to make plays to win the game. That's what I don't understand.
See, that was one analyst who pulled out of nowhere.
No.
I disagree entirely.
People can say things like that.
I read through a lot, the Vikings article, Vikings app put together a lot of analyst picks in one spot, and it seemed that. First off, a majority picking the Vikings, and all the people picking the Vikings were listing all these strengths, and we're very confident. And all the Eagles picks were saying, after all this, we want to go with the Vikings because they have the destiny element, they're playing well, but I think the Eagles are going to pull it out. I see the entirely opposite. I think the Vikings picks are very confident. Eagles have to defend themselves.
I kind of see that too. I see most of the Vikings arguments I've seen have more basis for actual on the field stuff than the Eagles. Because the Eagles thing is just, they have the underdog mentality and they're at home and blah, 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 blah. And they don't actually cite much that's relevant on the field.
Dirk, you bring up a good point about how the reason I think the Eagles are looked at as pretty even here is because they're at home. But I was looking into it, and what really makes their home field advantage a home field advantage? And I think it's two things in the playoffs. One, the temperature. They're playing in a cold weather city with an open stadium. Listen,
except for it's supposed to be 50 degrees on Sunday.
You just stole my point.
I knew he was going to.
That was my point.
Dirk wants to take every point.
It was 52 degrees and sunny for a high.
You can't just let him have it, Dirk. Come on.
So
he was excited.
I was. So that's going to take away. And then I'm going to get one more here because I'm mad at Dirk for stealing that, because I found this morning I was excited.
He was just bringing that up for no reason, Dirk. You didn't think he didn't know that it was going to be 50.
Naturally.
I don't know things. Okay.
Dirk's here.
The other part is their crowd and loud noise supporting their team. But we are a team that almost always, it seems like we go out to an early lead. And I think if we do that this game, if we go out to an early lead, we'll neutralize some of that crowd noise and really take away a lot of what makes their home field advantage so helpful. So I'm not really looking at home field advantage as being quite as helpful as a lot of people are making it out to be.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Isaac. And another thing on their home field advantage, generally you think about home field advantage, it's going to be loud for the offense. It's going to be hard to make checks. And while that might be true, I think that Case Keenum truly is a guy who would thrive under having a lot of crowd noise while he's playing. Like, he likes that encouragement. That makes him want to do better. And so, I mean, you look at the Redskins game, arguably one of his best games of the season, if you take away the last two picks. he had crowd noise when he was throwing those balls. Those pump him up. He feels like he can make the throws, and generally he does. And you think about the Redskins game, there was a lot of big plays downfield. The Redskins arguably have a better secondary than the Eagles do. The Eagles' secondary is not good. People give them too much credit. You know why they do good? It's because they get such a good pass rush on that quarterbacks don't have enough time to make their checks. So if we can get a run game going and give Case Keenum time, and maybe Case Keenum bootlegs out of the pocket, we're going to be able to beat them downfield. Our receivers are far better than their cornerbacks.
And additionally, that's a place where we are able to thrive and the Eagles can't. Nick Foles has been absolutely terrible at throws downfield. I believe he's 2 for 15 on throws 20 yards downfield.
He's been trash.
With a passer rating of 13.8, whereas Keenum has like 100 passer rating. 70-something passer rating on throws downfield. It's still not amazing, but much stronger than Nick Foles. But one more thing, Nathan, your comment about the noise, I think it may help Case Keenum, or it may be something to push him on, but if you can't hear your play call, you can't communicate, that's going to naturally cause some frustration.
Well, yeah. And here's the other thing. Mike Zimmer actually talked about this in his press conference this week, that the noise was actually affecting them on defense. Some of their play calls were not getting through quite as well as he would have hoped. And so
The little sword.
while it's always nice to have that noise on defense, and our defense really feeds off of it, I think that we are going to see a much more sound defensive scheme this week, especially in the second half as we go to destroy that Eagles offense. And I don't foresee them having very much success against it.
And here's my other thing also with crowd noise is that if you get up early on the Eagles fans are not confident. This is not the Patriots fans where they'd be like, oh, we're down 14, we can still come back. If you're an Eagles fan, you get down by like 14 points, you're all of a sudden booing your home team and you hate them because you're down 14 points. You're not confident and you turn against the home team.
Be able to take out of the game. We will definitely be able to take out a game. And one more thought about the Falcons-Eagles game last week. And if you look at the film, there was a lot of slipping going on, and that was contributing to some of the Falcons' problems because it was mostly them who were slipping. And so they put down new turf this week. That was one of the big headlines. They put down new turf. So hopefully that will not be a factor in this game. And a lot of Vikings players were talking about how they might get better cleats for the turf that will dig in further so that they aren't going to be slipping. So hopefully that will not be a factor in this game, looking at it as a whole. And certainly, I think we are better than the Falcons, both offensively and defensively. So while there is a tendency to be nervous going into this game, I'm not nervous.
The only part I would be a little bit worried about is that Eagles pass rush against our offensive line. A year ago, that pass rush got to us, but of course, since then, totally new offensive line. I expect them to get a couple. I expect them to get a couple sacks of Keenum, but I don't expect them to be anywhere hitting him as much.
Sam Bradford, who just stood in the pocket like an idiot. I mean, I think he had 2 different lost fumbles in that game, didn't he? He had at least one. But they came from behind him, stripped him like an idiot, and he lost the ball. I mean, Sam Bradford did not have a good game, and I think Case Keenum is much more suited to destroy this Eagles defense.
And I think, again, I said this last week, and it's been important always, but I think the turnover margin will be important in this game. Now, it's interesting because the Eagles last week were actually -2 in the turnover margin. They had 2 more turnovers than Falcons, and they still pull out wins. But I just don't see them being able to get that lucky against us. So I think the turnover margin is really important. If we can get more turnovers than them, we're in a really good position to win this game. So if Case Keenum can protect the ball, hold on to it when he needs to, make good throws, not dangerous throws,
We're running a tight schedule.
we've got a good shot. And I don't know. This is a terrible reason, but
Dad walking out in his underwear and
we have to win. Like I'm going to get in this more in my prediction. But I don't know. The image of these guys in dog masks after the game.
That was so
obnoxious.
Dumb.
We can't do that again. The world does not need that. I
hate Doug Peterson. I hate their players. They're just so unnecessarily cocky, and they've been cocky all season. I do not like them. They deserve to get crushed because they are not that good of a team. Seriously, I've been saying all season that the Vikings, if given the chance to play them, will expose them, and I think they will.
You did say that all year long.
You know what?
You have.
And you talk about Jay Ajayi, who's arguably been having a pretty good year, but He's a power runner. We're good at stopping those. And you know what? He's a fumbler. That's why Miami didn't want him anymore. He's a fumbler. He fumbled last week. I think we can force a fumble again. We're very good at forcing fumbles. And I would be looking for Andrew Sade, who will play, and Adam Thielen, who will play. Andrew Sade will come in, and he will cause a fumble.
I think is that your bold prediction?
That's just something that I can guarantee will happen.
I have to say, it is a really interesting matchup given our history together as teams. I mean, we think about last year and the beginning of the year, how our franchises were throwing together into this big trade that kind of defined our team for a while here. Now, neither Bradford nor Wentz is playing this week, but the connection between our team is still the same. And we always said last year in week 5, I remember watching this with you too. Last year in week 5, we said this game will show who won that trade. But personally, I kind of feel like tomorrow's game will define who won the trade. While it's not involved, it's just the idea of these two teams were put together in this big connection, and now the next year they're in the NFC Championship game. Who really has created a better team?
I would argue that
I would argue us
have lost that trade like big time. We lost a first-round pick for a quarterback who got us to an 8-8 season. Like, moral of the story, we lost big time. We lost a first-round pick for almost no reason. We literally would have been just as well giving a 7th-round pick and getting Kuzma. That I honestly still think that's what we should have done. That trade did not work out for us at all. The only thing it maybe did was, I don't know, get Pat Schumer to be our offensive coordinator because Norv Turner got basically fired. Like, that is literally the only good thing that happened from that trade. We lost so big time. It was not a smart move. And looking back on it, I would never, ever suggest that they do it again. Like, that, we lost that trade big time. Like, Eagles played us, end of story. They got the guy, we lost.
Yep. So that loss was behind us, but we might win this week. Time for bold predictions and overall predictions. So my bold prediction is going to be that Nick Foles throws 3 interceptions.
Holy cow. Wow.
Woo! And Minnesota wins the game by a final score of 20-7.
Okay. If Nick Foles throws 3 picks, this game is not even going to be close.
I think the Eagles defense is good enough where we'd score 20 points, but they'd only score 7.
If he throws 3 picks, this is not going to be a close game at all.
But anyway, Vikings 20, Eagles 7. That's my final score.
All right, Isaac.
All right. My bold prediction and my prediction are definitely related this week. And I have to kind of share a little tangent here that's been on my mind these past few days. So hear me out, and it's going to relate to my prediction. I think that the greatest sports story and the greatest sports movie of all time is Miracle. And as many of you know, that movie is about the amazing story of the 1980 U.S. hockey team that shocked the world and won the Olympics at Lake Placid. So the famous matchup, we have the U.S. versus the Soviet Union. And there's a bunch of scrappy college kids, these young, feisty guys who were not seen as relevant to the world and had a good little run. And you have, on the other side, a bunch of trained, skilled, killer men for the Soviet Union, just known around the world as the team defining world hockey. And they come in to this game, and they made it as exciting as possible. The U.S. came back from down 3 times. They're down 1-0, down 2-1, down 3-2, and they won the game 4-3. And it sent the U.S. into a frenzy. The entire nation was going wild. And a lot of them, they almost forgot that there was another match. This was the semifinal match. And they still had the gold medal match to win. And yet, they went into that match, and they won the game against, I believe it was Sweden, in a forgotten game. That was still a close game. And they won the gold medal. Now, let's flip the story here. Minnesota Vikings. This team has had too many setbacks to count in the past few years. We lost Teddy Bridgewater in a devastating injury. beginning of last year. We lose Bradford and Dalvin Cook this year. Our team was kind of washed out. We weren't given any credit, and we were out of the top after an 8-8 season last year. And this new team was formed from a group of forgotten players. You think of Keenum, Diggs, Thielen. We know those guys. But also a guy like Sendeo, who we forget. Sendeo was undrafted and played in an expansion league to start his career, the UFL. And here he is on our team having a pretty great season. So we have that. We have a young defense. You know, they're really talented, but they're pretty young. And a couple old vets like Newman who are at the end of their season, or end of their career. Almost done here. And here we are. We experience a magical 13-3 season. Then we go up and have a big-time matchup against the Saints. In this game, we come back twice in the final 3 minutes to win this game in stunning fashion. The Minneapolis Miracle. We take down the probably Hall of Fame quarterback Drew Brees, who is the talk of everything, and win this game. And it sent Minnesota into a crazy frenzy, the entire state, including us in Iowa, but basically Minnesota. So here's my point in all of this. The Minnesota Vikings have what is gearing up to be one of the greatest sports stories in recent history. And if we pull it off, this would be the greatest documentary I've ever seen. So much has come in this moment. And at this point, destiny has to play a role, and we have to win this game. This game has become so much more than this one moment, this one team. This game is the defining moment of years of Vikings history coming up to this culminating time. And we will not lose this game because we are not destined to lose this game. So we're coming together here. My bold prediction, I think this game will still be exciting. I'm going to say it comes down to the final drive. I know you don't like that.
Oh, boy.
Come down the field, and we're going to be on defense. And this week, our defense will take the win out of the jaws of defeat. We will win it 20-17 on an interception to ice this game. And that is my prediction because this Minnesota Vikings team is meant to be.
Wow, Isaac.
Okay, wow. That was
Impressive spiel there. You literally went off on us. And
Yes,
I
I
could
did.
not disagree with you more.
Wow.
Not about the speech, but about your bold prediction.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It might be one of the most anticlimactic games of the NFL season thus to date. Certainly maybe not as anticlimactic as the Titans-Patriots game, but maybe along those lines. I think that we will put this game away very, very early, and I mean actually put it away. Not like what we did against the Saints where we let them come back. I mean we will actually put this game away because the Eagles are the most overrated team in football still, and they got lucky with their NFC wild card, or they got lucky with their divisional game. They probably should have had to play someone tougher like the Panthers or the Saints, but the Rams lost to the Falcons, and that was a reality, and so they got to play the Falcons. Falcons, not that good a team. Didn't play that well in that game, and yet still it was close. We played a much better team last week, and to be honest, we pretty much destroyed them except for some poor second half play by our team, where we basically gave them back the game. And so I think we're going to play better this game. I don't think we're going to make mistakes, and honestly, I think we put the game away before halftime. My bold prediction,
Whoa.
I think actually more along the lines of you, Dirk. I think we're going to have 2 picks and a fumble in this game. And I think that Case Keenum will go off, and I think he will throw for at least 2 touchdowns, maybe 3 on the Eagles defense. And I think we're going to win this game pretty handily, 28-9. They are not going to score a touchdown.
That sounds like a great prediction.
Well, I think no matter what, we all can say it's going to be a fun game to watch. We're thrilled to have this, and hopefully.
And I don't know if I
Come
can
back next
take
week.
another end of game kind of moment. I don't think my body can physically take it because I literally almost died during that New Orleans game when we almost lost. I don't think I could take that again. So these Vikings better do us a solid and put this game away before halftime. That's
Down here. You said put it away before halftime. What's your prediction of the score at halftime then?
my prediction at halftime. I think it's going to be 28-0 at halftime. And honestly,
Ooh.
I would say we shut them out, but I think our defense, I think they will give them a little bit in the second half. They'll drive to the field and kick 3 field goals.
So bad offense second half for the Vikings here.
Well, mostly running, and I think the running doesn't work that well. But Pat Schumer tends to get very conservative when we get up by big leads, so I think we'll mostly be running in the second half.
Well, let's see this 20.
I can see that.
Can't wait.
That would be exciting. All right, that's all from us here at Vikings Rant. Hopefully coming to you victoriously once again next week and not completely crushed like what would happen if, for instance, the Vikings lost. But there's no way that's going to happen. We are so confident in our team, and there's no way we can jinx them in any way. They're going to do great this week, and we're excited to see it.
Come on.
All right, I'm Nathan Schulte. And that's Dirk Gummenauer.
And I'm Isaac Logerman.
And we'll see you next week.